Hello, YouTubers. Happy Wednesday. It's kind of late. It's a cold and rainy night, so I hope you're all warm and safe where you are. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge any new subscribers. Thank you for being here on my tiny little channel. And if you've just found our community, welcome. And feel free to ask me anything you'd like. So that's number one. Number two, this video, I'm going to try to keep it short, but I want to just talk about freeze and flight, our wonderful two best friends, and getting past that, as well as some of the supplements and natural things that I do to help heal my mind and my body, and how they're working for me. So I don't want to get bogged down in reverbalizing the traumas that I've been through over the last 2 years, because there are many of them. I sort of get weary of my own internal talk and reliving those experiences, but I do want to give you at least the contents page of the last, the book of the last 2 years, so that you have some context of what I have come through and what I am going through still, and that you will also get through it. No matter how dark it is, no matter how hopeless it is, you can and you will get past it. So, just kind of start 2 years ago when I moved back to California. I had rented a place, and the woman presented herself as the homeowner, but she wasn't, and she had lied to me about internet, cable, heat in my bathroom. I didn't have, heat in my bedroom. I didn't have proper plumbing in my bathroom. The kitchen was squalid, on and on and on. And she kept promising to make things better and to fix them and get internet and all of that stuff. And of course she didn't. And I ended up having to sue her so that I could get my deposit back and move, because she had begun to completely ignore me. The moment that I did that, she decided to utilize the LA County sheriffs to harass me. As we know, malignant narcissists will go to the ends of the earth to ruin you and to traumatize you further, and she did. The first of 15 times that they came to our house, they came in my bedroom the first 3 times and violated my civil rights, digging through my drawers, screaming at me to move out because she had told them horrible things like I had threatened her daughter with a knife. It's really, really horrible. And she would drag her daughter out there to blather on to the police every single night, which was incredibly traumatizing to the child. And even whenever I took her to court and of course won, she brought her child to this court date and talked about how threatening I was to her and her family, but there she was bringing her child. And she wanted her child to come up to the microphone, and the judge was like, no, sit your child down. Anyway, I moved from there to temporary place until I could save up and find another place that was of my own, so I didn't have to deal with roommates, and which would allow me to take my 2 cats. Right before I moved into this place, I lost my job that I had, and I didn't tell my landlord that because it's really none of his business if I can pay the rent. But the moment that I moved in, I realized that there was toxic mold in the apartment. And when I reported this to him, he went, it's not permitted, it's not insured, so you're just going to have to move. And I was like, I don't think that's the way things work. And, I couldn't move at the time. So I was there for 5 months. He put a HEPA filter in the apartment and planted cameras outside my apartment. I never felt safe. He came in there many times unannounced. It was a really horrible situation. There was definitely some narcissistic behaviors being exhibited by him, but all in all, he was just an asshole. I won that lawsuit, but it wasn't a big windfall. And I moved to another place that was, again, the only place that I could find that would allow me and my cats. And it was a shared situation. The night that I moved in, the woman who rented the place to me barged into my bedroom without knocking, and it totally freaked me out. And when I asked her politely to not do that without knocking, she slammed the door in my face, called me a bitch, and screamed at me to move out. Which I did in full flight mode. And I begged my friend who I'm living with right now to let me stay here temporarily while I figured out where I was going next and what I would be, all of that. It was supposed to be temporary, but it's been almost a year now. And before I moved in, I knew this person was odd at best and a bit antisocial, but he has revealed himself to be a full-blown covert binge drinking alcoholic, and incredibly verbally abusive. So there's a lot of cluster B personality traits, but I have literally lived in this dissonant way of thinking over this last year, because I've had to stay in gratitude that I have a place to live, that I, am relatively safe, and at the same time, I'm being traumatized. Sorry about that. So there have been many times where he has verbally abused me horribly. Told me that I should prostitute myself to make ends meet, that I should hang myself in the garage, so on and so forth. Now, and in the last 2 months, he has tried to throw me out on the street, and this is, this feels humiliating to talk about, but it's important that you understand that amid all of this turmoil in my life, I have managed to put one foot in front of the other, and I have managed to pull myself up. And I found a straight commission job, because I mentioned in a couple of videos back that I totaled my car, so it left me without a job. I found a straight commission job that I do during the day, and I took a job at a nice restaurant at night, and so now I can afford to rent again on my own. However, I can't refer to any of those landlords because I sued them all, and I don't have consistent income. So it's February 5th is my deadline to move, and just yesterday I got rejected from another place. So as much as I'm healing, and I am healing, and I'm getting better, and I feel better every single day, today was really, really a dark day, and I was just spinning all day. But I want to talk about the actual healing that I have been experiencing. And so I talked a little bit about lithium orotate in the last video, but I'm also taking Adrenal Optimizer. I take about 4 billion probiotic, live probiotics every day. And going, when over the last 6 years, without getting proper treatment, and treating anxiety and depression and not getting anywhere, and at times getting worse throughout it all, the only consistent thing that I would use to help calm myself down was cannabis. Like a lot of people, weed, cannabis, the good stuff. And I'm a big proponent of it. It should be legal. People should have access to it. They should be able to make their own decisions. But I want to say this: it was not a cure for me, and all of the effects that I would feel would be short-lived. And if you're not careful with what strain you get, can make your anxiety much worse. So about 3 months ago, I decided to do a lot of research on cannabis oils, and my friend was using Rick Simpson oil, and he gave me some, So I began or I stopped smoking and decided to just use the cannabis oil a couple times a day. And I take it in the morning, and then I take a stronger dose at night. And I am able to now sleep through the night, and that's a miracle, because for years I would be up starting at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, all of my systems being on, and then waking up completely drained and exhausted, and I didn't feel like a human, and I didn't think I was ever going to get better. And I am getting better. I'm dreaming. I feel rested. And so there's hope, but you have to not only take advantage of all of these supplements and watch the videos and read the books, but you've also got to make a really strong commitment to yourself. People talk about faking it till you make it, and that is so true in recovery. You have to really ask yourself, what would somebody do who loves themselves? What would they do? And do those things, and do them over and over and consistently, but also remember that you're going to have down days, just like I had today. So all in all, I'm on the upswing. I know that there's going to be a safe place for me and my 2 cats, and I know that financially it's just going to get better and better and better, and I'll have a new car at some point in the future. And I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that, that feeling of inaction, that that dis-associative state that you find yourself in when you're stuck after all these traumas. And it's very real. I mean, after all I've been through, it's terrifying to go out there and try and find another roommate. I mean, I'm terrified, but it might be my only option. But it gets better, and there is hope. So just keep plugging, keep asking questions, and ask me anything you want. I don't want to ramble on again. I'm sort of at that point, I think, and I think this is part of the recovery, where you don't live in the past anymore. And I think you can probably relate to, constantly having that inner voice and going over those scenarios and reliving them. But you will get to a point where you're not anymore, and you will get to a point where you can wake up and laugh. I found myself laughing. That's a miracle. So just have hope, and believe in yourself, because I believe in you, and I know that things are going to get better. So I hope you're all sorry about the airplane, having a wonderful night, and speak to you soon.